Hey, deserving listeners, I am a couples therapist. This is a TV show. I'm going to react to it. Let's see what happens.
So what did you think of where we went?
It's beautiful, and there was romantic moments.
I didn't think it was that romantic at all. I mean, this is supposed to be about us, and we go and spend time with them, and it's not romantic.
Okay, so if I'm going to interpret Tom's statements here, is that he wants to connect with Darcey, and since they, instead of going to his trip in the islands, they decided to go to Albania to meet up with her twin sister and the twin sister's fiance, and it wasn't a trip he wanted to go on, and he agreed to do it because Darcey really wanted to, and now that they're here, he's not being able to connect with Darcey. He really wanted to spend this time to get to know Darcey, and he's disappointed. But I wish he would be more direct with that. Like, Darcey, I like you, and I want to spend time with you. I want to connect with you, and I feel like we're being distracted, or at least you're kind of being distracted by your twin sister and the drama that kind of exists between the two of you. So it's just kind of disappointing to me because I really wanted to connect with you. That's a much different statement than Darcey, you screwed up, or Darcey, you get too wrapped up in your twin sister's drama, or whatever it is that Darcey might interpret this as. So let's see how they navigate this.
I feel like we're two friends on holiday together.
I don't want that.
It's not supposed to be that. It's supposed to be a nice romantic time.
I get it, and I feel like I that up by involving my sister. Now you're seeing tit for tats. I feel guilty now because I know you're not having a good time, and
I didn't say I wasn't having a good time. Am I having a romantic time? No, I'm not.
I feel like if we went to Great Canaria, you would have felt differently about me right now.
My parents got engaged there.
I'm a little worried about this conversation. Darcey has self-esteem and self-worth issues. I'm speculating based on the stuff we've seen before. Heading into this conversation, Tom, there's nothing wrong with saying, I'm a little disappointed that we came here. I accommodated you, and I feel like this isn't really the vacation I was looking forward to, and I'm not connecting with you in a way that I really wanted to. Instead, Tom's coming across as a little critical and a little shaming, and this is triggering Darcey. Because of Darcey's lack of differentiation, right now she's feeling very ashamed. She's like, oh, I'm such a loser. It's all my fault again. It's always my fault. I'm going to lose Tom. I'm going to be alone for the rest of my life because it's me. Because again, listen to previous episodes, speculation, due to inconsistent parenting growing up, she developed a working model of self that's very bad and a working model of other people that's very good. And so she might have tremendous shame about, like, it's always my fault. I'm deeply flawed. I need to idealize other people and worship them because they will save me from just how rotten I am on the inside. And this conversation is, noticeably getting to her right now. So I hope that Tom can see that. With Jesse, it was interesting because Jesse actually, given his personality spectrum, he actually would notice her crumbling and would actually try to comfort her in this moment. He would often blame her and not take responsibility and try to control her in moments like this as well. But so I don't have a lot of confidence in Tom's responsiveness to this, because my speculation about him is that avoidant attachment style where he learned early in life to turn himself off from emotions, which means that you turn yourself off from noticing others' emotions as well. If you've ever been with someone with avoidant attachment style, you might feel really neglected. You might feel like they just don't care about you. The fact is that they do care about you, but neurologically, they actually don't pick up on your emotional state. One, because they probably came from a family where there wasn't a lot of noticing of each other's suffering. Two, in order to have empathy, you have to feel your own feelings, because I'll just speak for myself. Because I have relatively good amount of connection with my emotional center, which not everyone has, because my parents raised me well enough to have that. When someone else is hurting, like Darcey right now, I actually physically feel something It's the mirror neurons, you could call it that, or you just call it empathy, where I actually kind of feel something in my chest about like, oh no, Darcey is probably plummeting right now. And by feeling those feelings, my brain notices those physical feelings in my body and draws some conclusions consciously about what Darcey is going through. If I'm disconnected from my feelings, I won't be given that opportunity to feel that empathetic response, and thus won't be able to know other people are having an emotion. It's possible that Tom suffers from that, and even though for us we're like, oh no, Darcey, he might just not even notice. So he will come across like he doesn't care, but it's possible that because of the neurological issues that developed early in life due to neglect, he isn't given an opportunity to care, if that makes any sense. Let's see what happens with this.
I don't know, in my head it's like, oh, let's go and do this, and if things are great and it's wonderful, then maybe, you know, I would have asked you to marry me. But we're here, and it isn't the way I wanted it to be.
What? So he's secretly been wanting to ask her to marry him this whole time? That sounds very suspicious. Is he just saying that to get back at her? Or has he been secretly wanting to marry her this whole time? That is a shocking revelation. He either is saying that to hurt her and say like, look, you screwed up. I would have asked you to marry me if you hadn't screwed up this trip so much. That's one possibility. The other possibility is he was genuinely thinking about asking her to marry him, and he's so avoidant of his emotions to the point where he doesn't signal his emotional feelings, that none of us, including Darcey, had any indication that he had that kind of warmth. So I don't know. It's interesting. Let's see what he says. Usually in the interview, he's more forthcoming. So let's see what he says.
I think maybe if we'd just gone to Gran Canaria, we would have been caught up in the moment. The location, setting's beautiful. We would have been much more romantic towards each other. Having gone to Albania and it not been like that, I actually saw what Darcey's all about. And now I'm not 100% sure where we're at in the relationship.
So this is more of a citizen comment than a therapist comment. It's a little weird to say such a thing, to say like, well, if we had gone to this other island, it would have been romantic and I would have asked her to marry me. But since we went to Albania, I got to see Darcey for who she really is, and now I'm not so sure if I want to ask her to marry me. Well, wouldn't you want to get to know someone for who they really are before you ask them to marry you? There's something weird about what he's saying right now. I can't really put my finger on it.
I'm glad we came here because it's actually shown me two sides of you. There's one woman on this side that I love and adore and I'd love to spend the rest of my life with. And there's another one on this side that, you know, you could be my friend.
Again, there's something weird about the way he's saying this. I don't know if it's just my reaction to it, but it just seems a little strange. He's saying, on one hand, there's someone I love and adore, and I don't know if they've been editing out messages, but that's the first time we've heard, or I've seen him actually verbalize any kind of positive love for Darcey. So he's saying, you know, on one hand, I want to marry you, but on the other hand, I'm seeing this other Darcey that, well, we could be friends. What do you mean? What's the problem? You know, is it just that you've lost that love and feeling? Or is it that she has fights with her twin sister? I mean, what is he trying to do here? He's giving a lot of messages, and I didn't include some of the clips earlier in this episode, where Tom is kind of putting Darcey in this position like, you either have to fight back at your sister or reject your twin sister, because I don't like you around your twin sister, and I don't like the way your twin sister and you interact. So you're going to have to get rid of her, or you're going to lose me, which is a really weird thing to say. And I don't understand why he would see it that way. I'm having a hard time conceptualizing that. Let's see what happens.
I can't believe that Tom said that he would have proposed. That makes me feel like I lost out on the best day of my life. Coming to Albania was a mistake. I should have never listened to my sister. This trip ruined everything.
I do not like the narrative that is developing here. That somehow the twin sister ruined the chances of these two getting married. It just seems like a really weird thing to say. How could that possibly be true, right? It's very concerning that they would go there. All right, well, that does it for that installment of me reacting to the TV show 90 Day Fiancé, in which we follow Darcey and her story. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself. Also, become a patron of the podcast. Also, subscribe, hit the bell below. Also, comment below and participate in the conversation. We always love seeing people communicate with each other and debate certain things. It's always great to see. And again, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do. And you deserve to have strong attachments and secure attachments with people who love you. And you deserve to be able to communicate your true feelings to each other, because it's a wonderful feeling to have that I'm sure you have experienced in the past, or at least I hope you have. So everyone take care. See ya.